The conference room is full of excuses, and every one of them is something I've heard before. You're going to want to stick around for today's episode because we're going to talk about those little sneaky excuses. And this is all from my book, Rat Race Reboot.
The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
Welcome to Rat Race Reboot. I'm your host, Laura Noel. And as a certified coach and former 27-year military leader, each week I provide bite-sized mindset pivots that will help you reset your mind, reawaken your spirit, and regain your control. Welcome back to another episode. Today we are diving into a fundamental concept from my book, Rat Race Reboot. And this starts with chapter 1, and it is knowing what you want. And it's the cornerstone of any meaningful change in your life. And surprisingly, a lot of people don't know what they want, or they certainly claim to not know what they want. But the truth is, they're not slowing down enough to draw from within themselves. They know what they want. It's already inside of them. But that's what we're going to be talking about today. And that conference room being full of excuses, and every one of them is something I've heard before. This is a snippet from my first chapter where it's a scene of a common corporate meeting. It's a common theme that I hear with individual clients. But in this scene, many of us are familiar with it. It's the type of environment where external influences often dictate the narrative, and that narrative is obscured by those external influences. It's obscuring our true desires and the potential of individuals and the organization as a whole. So let's dive a little bit deeper into why knowing what you want is such a crucial step and how it can ultimately liberate you from the rat race. Well, first and foremost, it's important. There's such an importance here on the topic of self-awareness and your clarity of desire. Self-awareness is simply being cognizant of your values. What are your values? And if you don't know, take some time to figure that out. It's being aware of your priorities, so that our calendar and these external circumstances don't drive our priorities. We drive our priorities. And just having that knowledge in and of itself is really powerful. And then, of course, what are your desires? That's the initial step toward breaking free from the rat race. So clarity is simply getting a clear understanding of what you want, because that clear understanding acts as your compass, and it's guiding you toward meaningful goals and away from the external pressures that might lead you astray. Okay. So, that clarity of focus, also, I talk about goal priming a lot. Once we have that clarity of focus and that compass, even when we're not actively doing things toward our vision and our goal, subconsciously, we have this goal priming going on, so that when we enter into a situation, or we're networking, or we're at a party, or we're just out and about, something in your external environment can sort of trigger and reactivate that goal in your mind and help you to take advantage of the opportunities that are right around you, right there in the moment. Okay, so I want to give you some examples of people who I've worked with who, once they got clarity, they skyrocketed, and it happened really quickly. One person, her name is Summer, and when we started working together, she was running a non-for-profit in the California area. Wonderful, wonderful individual. Oh my gosh, hard charger, creating impact in the world. And I'll put the link to her organization in the show notes so you can check it out. But when she and I started working together, she was wanting to bring in donations and have an impact in her community and in her nonprofit. And her desire was to bring in around $750,000 that year. so that she could have a greater impact on her community. But what ended up happening is once we started doing work around what are your true desires? What are your values? What's the impact you truly want to make? And here's a part that's often overlooked. How do you want to feel when you're doing all of these things? So we could do all these things and have a goal and be in the rat race, and it's hard and laborious, and we're, faced with challenges all over the place, left, right, and center, and we face tragedies, but we can get really granular and clear, not only on what we want to accomplish, but who do we want to be as we're accomplishing those things? What kind of impact do I want to have? And how does this goal and vision influence and impact other people around me that are a part of it? So once she got clarity on that, within a few months, she was able to raise not 750,000, but gosh, I think the number at that time was 1.2 million in just a matter of 3 months. And there was a complete shift in the makeup of her board. And all of these people that came on board to the board were in alignment with her vision. And she was the founder of this organization. She then became the executive director, and so was being compensated for her incredible work and her fundraising. So that was a shift that happened so quickly. And it was as a result of directing herself, directing her thoughts and behaviors toward a vision, her values, the impact, what she wanted and who she wanted to be in the midst of that. Another person I worked with, her name was Emma, and her name wasn't Emma. Her name is Emma. And she was working in a job. It was a great job. She was working in a TV station and enjoyed that work and that role that she was doing. But she took time to allow herself to dream and really become clear on what does she want. And she got clear on what are her gifts that she has within her innate abilities that aren't being expressed in her current job. And once she got clear on that, she set a path and a direction and a vision, a long-term goal, but that goal manifested in 3 months. You seeing a theme here? And this is where she left her job and she combined her love for travel and social media and marketing. And she created her own marketing company and was able to hire three employees at the time and replace her 6 figures doing what she loved. And part of her dream was to incorporate traveling around the world. So that's a part of her life, her work-life integration, and she's much more fulfilled in doing that. So she gave her thoughts and her goal achieving direction, and things manifested for her rather quickly. Another former client, Rob, was gaining clarity on what he wanted. And also equally important, when we first started working together, he was doing a lot, serving so many people as a mentor, as a coach to CEOs, as a part of multiple boards. His impact was amazing. However, he didn't have a lot of time for himself. I remember him telling me he was working at all hours in the morning, 3 a.m., sometimes quite often, and it was taking its toll on him. So he was getting clarity on what he wanted and how he wanted to serve. And also he was gaining clarity on what he didn't want for his life. And it was that feeling of kind of being in the rat race and being tugged and pulled in all these different directions and sort of putting himself last. Well, he got in harmony with something he wanted, truly, truly wanted. And he partnered up with a tech company where they were developing a product to harness the power of molecular iodine to eradicate pathogens. And now this is a global company and it's expanded and grown tremendously. And it's his passion. And he feels like he's creating an impact in the world for millions of people. And he truly is. But he wouldn't have been able to do that had he not gotten clear on how he wanted to serve, who he wanted to be, how he wanted to feel while he was serving, but equally as important, what he didn't want anymore, and that pull and tug at all of his time and resources. So that clarity helped him catapult his dream and say no to some things that were in harmony with him at one time, but were no longer in harmony with where he wanted to go. Here's a couple of other examples that I pulled from online, which I think are great. And these are organizational examples of companies that got clear on what they wanted in terms of their organizational culture and vision, and how everything followed suit once they had that clarity. Pixar nurtures culture of innovation by supporting creativity across all areas and embodying that principle that innovation demands the ability to live with ambiguity. And they encourage employees to share unfinished work, which fosters a collaborative environment, and that drives the creative process forward. So having that vision, having that compass towards supporting creative collaboration, that drives the things that they're doing and helps them embody who they are. Cliff Bar and Company, that's nutritious energy built on purpose. That's their vision. So Cliff Bar and Company extends beyond energy bars, aligning with fair trade manufacturing and environmentally sustainable protocols. Their culture is rooted in ethical business practices, investing in both personal and company-focused initiatives, and that propels the organization forward, which is wonderful. That drives the things that they do and how they innovate and how they collaborate and the greater impact that they have as an organization and individually. And then the last one I want to highlight is a place I shop all the time. It's Trader Joe's. And Trader Joe's has strong core values like integrity and Kaizen, which is continuous improvement. And that emphasizes shared accountability and community. And it's creating a culture where every individual contributes to a collective effort to do a little better each year. And if you've ever shopped at a Trader Joe's, you can experience that firsthand. So I want to leave you with some strategies for discovering what you truly want. What are your values? What's important to you? How would you be? How would you act? What kind of things would you do when you're really living the life that you truly desire? And what is that anyway? So you want to start engaging in reflective practices. And this is where we go inward. This is not where we're taking online courses and filling our minds with external data, right? We're going inward to discover this. So engage in some form of reflection through journaling, meditation, or simply spending quiet time alone to be with the question, what do I want? How do I want to serve? What are my values, right? You can take that alone time to explore your desires and your values. The next thing that is important is having conversations. So having meaningful discussions with trusted individuals who can provide different perspectives and insights and help draw out of you some of the things you might be grappling with. So that could mean a mentor. I'm an advocate for having a coach, because a coach can help you compress time and help you navigate those conversations with yourself and your team. And then experimentation. Step out of your comfort zone by trying new experiences, even if they're unrelated to your goal and vision, because that can provide valuable insights into what truly resonates with you, what you truly want, what's fun for you, what you enjoy, what the experience was like, what you don't like, right? So just give yourself permission to do things that are completely unrelated to your goal. That's not frivolous. That's experimentation. That's tapping into your creativity. So I hope this helps you and gets you started in the right direction. Over the next several episodes, I'm going to be drawing from inspiration from my book, Rat Race Reboot. And that's in a quest to guide you on your own journey out of the rat race. And together, we're going to explore actionable strategies and real-world examples to empower you to take the reins of your life and steer toward the path filled with purpose and fulfillment. So recap some action steps. I want you to reflect. Take some time starting today, even if it's just 5 minutes, to reflect on what you truly want. 2, I want you to write it down. Write down your desires. Writing them can bring more clarity. And evaluate external influences. Identify and evaluate the external influences that might be hindering your progress and write those down. And then seek support. Surround yourself with supportive individuals who understand and respect your desires and who can provide constructive feedback, who see you in your greatest. Get a coach. That's one of the people in your support team. Well, I'm excited to be on this journey with you. And again, I hope this has been helpful. Get your copy of Rat Race Reboot, the book. You can get your first chapter for free just by going to ratracereboot.com and subscribing. I'll send you a copy of that first chapter, and that will get you started. You can also find the copy of the book, which will be in your email, through Amazon. But remember, everything is created twice, first in your mind and then in physical form. So we are mastering our mind first. Enjoy your week, and we'll see you next week.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.